this verse right here, I promise you, if you just watch till the end and you bear with me, I think will be one of the most practical implementations of relational, financial, social, the cure and the antidote to loneliness that you'll ever deal with. Okay, so let's read it, and then we're going to get into it. So Proverbs chapter 27, verse 1 and 2, real simple. Don't brag about tomorrow, since you don't know what the day will bring. Let someone else praise you, not your own mouth, a stranger, not your own lips. Now, there's another verse that I'm sure some of you guys are familiar with, which we'll look at here. This is from James. This is ultimately talking about humility. You guys hopefully are familiar about this. James 4:13 through 17. It says, "Come now, you who say today or tomorrow we will go to such and such city, spend a year there, buy and sell, and make a profit, whereas you do not know what will happen tomorrow. For what is your life? It is even a vapor that appears for a little time and then vanishes away. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we shall live and do this or that. But now you boast in your arrogance. All such boasting is evil. Therefore, to him who knows to do good and does not do it, it is sin." Okay, so same thing here. Don't brag about tomorrow, since you don't know what the day will bring. Let someone praise you, not your own mouth, a stranger, not your own. Okay, so first and foremost, this is talking about humility, right? And in understanding that your plans ultimately have to succumb to God's providence. Your plans ultimately have to be submitted to God's will. Now, how does your free will and your ability to be a sentient being coincide with the providence of God? This is something scholars have debated for thousands and thousands of years. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to say, yes, there is a practical humility that we must live life with. It's the age-old joke. You want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. There's that aspect. But I want to go a different direction with this, because I think we all know that. Here's what I think. I have the feeling that the issues you are struggling with and I am struggling with is not necessarily this flamboyant 5-year plan. I got the answers and I'm going to tell God all my plans. I think some of us maybe, but I think generally speaking, and if you are, I have something for you too. But I think generally speaking, what many of us are dealing with is not that. I think what many of us are dealing with right now in the climate that we're in is not I'm too ambitious, or I'm too driven, or I have too many good things going for me. I think many of us are struggling. Many of us are looking at the world and its uncertainty. Many of us are thinking about ways we can improve our situations. I don't think most of you guys are dealing with this arrogance. I'm boasting about myself and how awesome I am. I don't think that's where most of us are at, right? I actually think it's more subtle than that, but it's causing something that many of us are going through, which is loneliness, which is isolation, which is lack of community, which is a lack of accountability. Some of you guys have been single for a while. You don't know how to break out of being single. You're having trouble with social skills because maybe you grew up on the internet. You grew up doing all your stuff on a device. Okay. And so what we're going to talk about next, I think, is going to be very helpful. This is all going to make sense in a second. Just bear with me. Okay. I got something for you guys. If you guys didn't see this yet, you should go see it. Okay. It's a brand new movie. Okay. It is by Adam Sandler. It's a kid's movie and it's called Leo. Okay. Have you guys seen this yet? Leo is a movie with Adam Sandler playing the main character, who's a lizard. The lizard is in a 5th grade classroom. These kids are doing their last year of elementary school, and they have lizard in this tank, and they have a turtle who's played by Bill Burr in this tank. Okay, and it's in a classroom, and the teacher, their teacher, who's an awesome teacher, ends up getting pregnant. She's about to have a baby, and so the students, these kids, new substitute teacher is way harsher. She's old school. Tells the students that to show their ability to be responsible and to be disciplined, they all have to sign up and take turns taking Leo home for the weekend. Okay, so Leo is this like lizard iguana played by Adam Sandler, and this class of 5th graders who have this new teacher all have to sign up and take Leo home for the weekend and take care of him. Now, the plot twist is that Leo can speak to humans. Okay, Leo can speak to humans, and it's brilliant. Like it's really well done. Leo is played by Adam Sandler. His kids are played. The other kids in the classroom are played by Adam Sandler's daughters. It's like the whole family's involved in this, right? And Bill Burr is the turtle. It's really well done. Really funny movie. Me and my 2-year-old are watching it. There's some really good stuff in here. Okay, now there's a girl in the movie named Summer. Okay, Summer's right here. She's played by Adam Sandler's daughter. And Leo is basically throughout the movie he's like the sage. He's older. He's 75. And so he starts talking to these kids that take a moment and solving all their problems. Now I want to play you guys one clip where Summer meets Leo.
Never gonna be a doctor now. I could work at the DMV. Hopefully the one next to Quiznos, because I don't want to go too far away from my parents.
Mother of Godzilla!
What was that?
Okay, so Leo's trying to escape, and this is Summer's first time hearing Leo talk. I promise you this is going somewhere. Just bear with me.
Well, who said that? The wall? Walls don't talk. Why would a wall say anything? Why do you keep pointing to it? I mean, they say if these walls could talk because they can't talk.
The trophy!
You said something! You just spoke! Mom!
No!
You talked! You're talking! I have to tell my mom or people think I'm crazy! It'll probably have to go to school in Tampa for kids with issues, but I have to!
Please, people can't! No!
Why are your hands wet?
They're naturally moist. Please, I'm begging you to keep quiet. If people know I talk, they'll send me to a scientist or something.
But I have to tell someone!
Please. You're the only one who can hear me.
Oh, then why are you whispering?
Because you were and it sounded fun.
Okay, so that's how Summer meets Leo. Now, something happens here that is real funny. The rest of the scene plays out, and Summer just keeps talking. Summer's a sweet girl, but she doesn't have many married friends. She's lonely, okay? And she's talking a whole lot, and Leo goes, I know, I understand. And she goes, why did you say you understand? And he goes, because I understand. I've been around for a while. And she goes, oh, I thought it was because of something else. And he's like what? And she goes, oh, it's because I talk too much. It's because I talk too much. And Leo goes, oh, you're actually very self-aware. You know that you may be perceived as talking too much. And she goes on to talk about herself. And Leo gives her this gem. Okay, and and this is so timely, and this is such a huge gem for me when I first heard of it. And Leo goes, Summer, start asking other people questions about themselves, because people like to talk about themselves, and it makes them feel good when they're talking about themselves. I'm going somewhere with this. I promise you. It's going to make sense. Just bear with me. And so Summer goes, huh? Asking questions, right? Because she's struggling. It's 5th grade. She's struggling. She can't make any friends. Summer has this epiphany that she talks too much about herself, and she doesn't ask people questions, and she doesn't think about other people. So immediately after, she calls her mom in the room, and she goes, Mom, what's the square root of 91? And the mom was like, what? Go to sleep, Summer. Summer then goes into the rest of her life, and she starts being intent. And Leo tells her, no, not just any question. And she goes into the rest of the life, and she's begins to be intentional about asking people good questions about themselves. Right now, some of you guys are getting weird, and you're like, lizard, it sounds like Satan in the garden. Okay, it's a children's movie. Don't be a weirdo. Okay, but this is what a lot of us are struggling with. Let someone else praise you, not your own mouth, a stranger, not your own lips. I don't think that you guys are struggling with arrogance in the sense that you're walking around and boasting like a battle rapper. I don't think that's where most of us are at. I think most of us who are struggling with loneliness, who are struggling with isolation, who are struggling with not knowing how to start relationships, I think most of us just forgot to think about other people. And so when you meet people, it turns into word vomit. You don't know how to stop talking about yourself. You don't know how to not just talk about yourself. And Leo had to teach this to Summer in a children's movie. Ask other people questions about themselves. And all of a sudden, she starts asking other people questions about herself. And what happens? All of a sudden, she develops friends. She develops relationships with other people, because when she meets people, she's just not diarrhea word vomiting over people. And I think this is a direct segue. This is a direct segue to where many of us are at. You want to be in a local church, but you get around people and you just talk about yourself. Maybe not in a boastful way, but you don't know how to not talk about yourself. You want to be in a relationship with somebody of the opposite sex, but you just talk about yourself. You want to be held accountable, but you don't know how to give in relationships. You just make it about you. And by the way, being afraid to talk to people is still making it about you, because it's about what you are comfortable with, and it's about what you want, and it's about what makes you happy. So instead of going through life and only talking about yourself, the real practical application of all of this is there's a proverb that says, if you want more friends, be more friendly. If you want to not be lonely, which a lot of us have experienced because of the pandemic, because of social media, because of a plethora of reasons. When you meet people, when you go to a new church, when you meet a young lady or a guy, and there's an interest, and I want friends. I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to be isolated. Here's the most pragmatic, simple quote that just grain this into your brain. Don't make it about yourself. Make it about asking people good questions about them. Find out information about other people and ask about them. And I'm going to add a caveat, because what it does is most people enjoy talking about themselves. Most people enjoy someone caring enough about their day to ask them a very specific question. And here's the flip side to all of this. And how do you know if you want to be in some sort of relationship, friendship with someone, is as you're building and you're asking questions, pay attention on if it's reciprocal. Because if you're talking to a young lady or a young guy and you're trying to be romantic and you're asking good questions, you're not just asking what's the square root of 91 the way Summer did, and you're asking good questions, good thoughtful questions, and they never ask you a question back, that's probably not somebody you want to be in a relationship with, fam. Probably not somebody you want to be in a relationship with. I promise you that's not. Nope. Right? If you're trying to build a friendship and all the person does is talk about themselves and they never ask you how you're doing, right? And so, because here's what I think happened. I think we've been indoctrinated with this, you are a snowflake, you are the center of the universe, the world revolves around you. And then COVID happened and we had to be indoors and not be outside. And then we forgot how to be social creatures. And so I'm just bringing it back to the very, 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 very basics of, hey, be interested in what other people have going on. Philippians tells us to think of others before we think of ourselves. And so if you're lonely, if you're struggling, if you want to, man, I really want to be married someday, and you're just striking out, and you're actually taking care of yourself, right? We're talking about romantic. We're just going to pause for romantic side. Taking care of yourself, right? You're going to the gym. You're trying to better yourself, right? If you're doing that aspect and you're just striking out, you need to examine, am I asking good questions? Am I being friendly? And if you are, make sure that it's being reciprocated, right? Because most people who are quality people that you want to be in friendship with, want to be in a relationship with, will reciprocate that. And if they don't, you probably don't want to be in any sort of relationship, because most people usually turn around and be like, well, what about you? What do you think about this? And so examples of good questions, obviously it depends on the context. Something as simple as when I meet people, something as simple as if I meet somebody at church, say I meet somebody new at church. Hey, how are you doing? Where are you from? How long have you been going to church here? Easy questions to meet folks at church. Smile. How are you doing? Listen to what they say how are they doing? How long have you been going here? Where are you from? Easy questions. We see according to the Bible that prayer is extremely important in terms of us being transformed from the inside out when we get aligned with God's will. For the Christians watching this channel, I want you guys to implement these spiritual disciplines in your day-to-day life. And the only way I've been able to do this consistently is through writing down my prayers in a prayer journal that does a few things. One, it allows me to reflect and come to God humbly and ask him to move on my behalf. And two, it allows me to document my prayers, which ultimately help me remember the very things that I was praying for and see the hand of God tangibly in my life when he answers them. So I would urge you, consider writing down your prayers. It could be in a blank notebook. It could even be on your phone. Or you could check out the one I personally designed and used from my own quiet time and spiritual discipline that I think will be a huge blessing. It's the exact structure and system that I've used for years to pray and be more consistent in my spiritual disciplines. You can pick yours up today by clicking the link in the pinned comment below. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.